What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? It is Jason Jani, and welcome back to my channel. It's super good to have you here. And in this video, I am talking about the newest craze, which we've been kind of dealing with for some time in the Northeast, and that is the emergence and the surge of cocktail style receptions. Couples that are looking to do things a little bit differently than the traditional wedding experience that is super structured, super milestone oriented, and super timeline specific. Couples are looking to kind of disrupt the norm, and for good reason. People are looking for something different. They're looking for something that fits their lifestyle, their personalities, their relationship, and so much more. I didn't realize until I started planning my own wedding with Lauren how difficult this task could be. And knowing what I know from working the way I do at events has really helped me kind of navigate sometimes tricky waters when talking with specific locations about our ideas of not having something that is super milestone or timeline driven, because we want something different than what I do each and every day at this point or weekend with my events at SCE, specifically helping wedding couples. So I wanted to kind of think through and record this video to hopefully help potential couples as well as venues and other professionals, DJs in our world, kind of navigate these waters so that when and if you are in the situation or working with a couple or working with an event that is looking to have something that disrupts the norm and opts for more of a cocktail style reception, I think I wanted to share my pieces of advice of why they don't work and how and what you can do to make them a little bit better. So kind of starting at the top, I think the idea of a cocktail style reception is very refreshing to a lot of people. People that are looking for something different, another alternative, something different than every other wedding that they are going to be attending in their friend circle or friend group that year. They're looking for something that just is more in line with who they are, what they're into, how they eat, their mannerisms, and the thought of spending a massive amount of money on a party with very limited time in the dance area is something that doesn't, ring the bell for everyone that's planning a wedding. I can tell you straightforward, for myself and for Lauren, we're looking for something a little bit different, and we're looking not to opt into some of the traditional things that many people opt to do, because we want this to be a celebration of our relationship, of our life together, and we're looking for something just different. Not to make this about me, but think about why, and if you've done a cocktail style reception, why did it fail? Was it because the food stations were placed in another room, or there was food stations essentially making the cocktail style reception essentially an open buffet and really just kind of swagging it out with maybe some cocktail style tables in the room? What was it that failed? What was it that called it off? Trying to fit circle plagues in almost like a square hole? Was it the setup? Was it how the entertainment unfolded the day? What was it? Was it the foundation? Was it the framing of the event? Was it not letting people know in advance what was going to take place, and people getting to the celebration, them walking in the room, going right to their assigned seat or assigned table, and them sitting down waiting for the traditional sequence of events to happen, and it not happening, causing confusion? So I wanted to share with you a couple things that we as DJs can do to help eliminate the stress, eliminate the confusion, and eliminate these parties from being mediocre at best when they can be outstanding, as long as you do a couple of things. So first and foremost, I am a big fan at cocktail style receptions, if you're going to have food stations, to place them in the room. Sending people to another room to get food, to walk back, just causes a lot of shuffling around of parts and people that doesn't need to occur. I am a big fan of past hors d'oeuvres and past food in lieu of stations. And if that's something that's possible, this is something that can go a very long way into keeping an even flow of the overall party, especially if you're working with a couple that wants to have a dance celebration from the minute they walk in the room to the minute the party ends, which is super challenging, especially when you have many different worlds of people, age groups of people, and needs of people at an event. Another thing that you can do to kind of like stack the deck in your favor is not assign table seating for your guests if you are someone that is planning a wedding. And if you are planning a wedding, another thing that I've seen done a number of times is to not have an equal amount of seats or table settings for the equal amount of guests, forcing people to move around, forcing people to go to the cocktails tables that don't have seats, forcing people to not post up in one location the entire night. Another thing I think is on the setup. I think if you are a DJ and you are tasked with a cocktail style reception, it is your duty when you welcome people or as people are walking in to essentially lay out the framework, the groundwork, the foundation of the event in front of you. Hey, the newlyweds have opted not to have a traditional style wedding celebration for us all to enjoy. In lieu of, entrees being served to the table, they've opted to have a free flow of food for the next couple of hours. Food is going to be served and presented over the course of the next however many hours, and you are welcome to enjoy or partake in anything you want at any point. I think it's super important to kind of lay the framework in terms of the duration of how much food is going to be coming out or when food is going to be coming out. And of course, when food is going to stop. I think that's kind of like your duty as the master of ceremonies, the MC, or the host DJ. I think it's super important to lay out the framework of what is about to happen. Also, I think it's super important to inspire people or encourage people not to get comfortable in seats and to let them know that there is a certain amount of seating and we'd like to allocate that seating for maybe the older people that are in attendance, or if you feel like you need to sit down just to take a little bit of a break from the dance floor all night long. Kind of set the goals up of what the couple has asked of you in this event. I think it's super important to do this, and the better you can get at the phrasing and dialing people into the overall vision given to you by the couple, the better off you will be in setting yourself up and setting the expectations of the people that are at the event up for success. Another thing I think is super important is if you are the DJ at one of these super cool cocktail style receptions, is to disrupt the normal. As people are walking in, invite them not to go to their tables, but in place of that, invite them to come to the dance floor. Try to start the party right away. Try to let them know what's going on right away. The moment doors open, it's kind of your job to set the tone. So make sure that maybe you're not full throttle right out of the gate, but you are moving on that path to set that party up for what you've been asked to do by the client. Again, taking into consideration how you're going to lay it out and explain it to the room in the least amount of words and the most candid and authentic framework is super important. But make sure people are not going into the room and immediately going to a table and posting up and getting comfortable and taking up their spot and putting their bags on their chairs and kind of taking it from there. Try to encourage people to come to the bar, to come to where the dance floor area is. And after you go through whatever milestones you are kind of tasked with going through, make sure that you clearly present what is going on. And if you need to remind people of the framework of the event, do so when you feel it is necessary. That's your job. Cocktail receptions can be a blast and they can be a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm looking to do for my wedding because I want to do something a little bit different. And I think that if you can do any of these pieces of advice in any event that you're doing in the future that is set up with this specific kind of format, I think you increase your odds of making it a slam dunk from beginning to end. My name is Jason Jani. I appreciate you checking out this video. If you feel me, you feel this channel, you feel the content here on this channel, I'd appreciate a thumbs up or a subscription if you're not yet supporting my hustle and this channel. I'd be grateful for that if you don't mind doing it down below. If you have a question, a comment, or you'd like to offer anything for this conversation, please do so in the comments down below and be on the lookout for more content dripping right here in the days, weeks, and the month ahead. Thank you so much for checking this out.
Jason. Jani.
Jason. Jani.